So today, I want to talk to you guys about keeping your mind open as you progress through your animation journey. Here's what happens. As you learn more about animation, as you become more experienced, your mind starts to close because you get settled in your own ways. And that is a mistake, in my opinion. Now, let's talk about how to avoid that in this video. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video, another week, another video, and I hope you guys had a great week. My name is Harvey Newman. I'm an animation director for games. I love games and I talk about it here in this channel with all of you, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Now, when it comes to keeping your mind open in animation or any other art form really, when you start, you're young, you're just getting started, you feel very much like a sponge, right? You know that as soon as you get that job, as soon as you start working on that place that you dream of working on, you are gonna go there and you are gonna learn so much from everybody that is around you, because that is what you're gonna do. Because after all, you've been learning by yourself, for yourself all this time, and you've been craving for other people, more experienced people, to tell you how to do it properly, right? Because things can be so confusing. So it makes sense that your mind is open, you feel like a sponge, and you're just gonna absorb everything. What happens after a while is that you start to become good at your craft, right? And you do learn from others, and then you learn of your own way of doing it, right? No two animators have the same workflow, so every animator has their own thing. So when you find your thing, you get stuck to it because you realize that this workflow works well for you. Therefore, you're gonna keep it and you're gonna run with it. This is fine, and this still allows you to be malleable. So this is the next step. So you're not 100% open-minded anymore because you have your own way of doing things, and that's fine. But you do need to know what others are doing, because you only have been in the industry, let's say a few years, so you're not 100% sure that your way is the only way. Now, fast forward a few years from then, and now you've been in a few studios and you've seen that your workflow works independently of the game, of the studio, the people around you, so you feel confident about your skills. You feel like whatever you're doing it well, because not only other studios want you, but the work that you're doing can be done anywhere you actually want to work on. So, you feel good. Now, this is when it becomes tricky, because that confidence that you have and that workflow that you have and the things that you've been doing so far can become a problem. And I have seen many people with this problem, both in the games industry and otherwise. And the problem is that you become so confident in your skills and you've done so many things in your career that you feel like the man. You feel like you have all the answers and you don't have to learn anything else because you have all the answers, because you've seen it all. You've seen so much after all, right? Now, I don't know if, for me at least, it comes from the way I lived, that I've seen so many things, yet I know that I know nothing. I feel like the exact same thing applies for animation. The more you learn about animation, especially gameplay animation, the more you realize that there's so much room to grow that it's impossible for you to learn everything. And every studio, every person does it slightly different. So it's easy for you to close your mind after you get to that point, and it's difficult for you to open your mind and keeping your mind open about other things, right? About someone else, like let's say a junior, coming through the doors and teaching you something new. Because who are the juniors that is just getting started teaching you, somebody that has been doing it for 10 plus years, about something new? I mean, you should know everything, right? Well, not really, because things keep changing all the time. And tech keeps changing all the time, and animation methods and animation levels, animation talent keeps being upgraded all the time. So you need to keep up with time, and the only way you can keep up with time and knowledge is by keeping your mind open. The more you fight that feeling of confidence and that feeling of knowing it all, right? The more you can actually keep that sponge, that open-mindedness that you had at the beginning, and you can continue learning as you become a better professional. After all, as I keep saying in this channel, animation takes a lifetime. So if you close your mind too early, let's say you've been working for 10 years and you think I know everything and I'm good, that means that you're going to get stuck in that mindset, and it's going to be a problem 20 years from now, let's say, right? Because you are doing it in the old school way of doing things and you haven't kept up with time, and therefore you're no longer hireable as you used to be back in the day. So the only way you can keep up with the industry, the ideas, the methods is by keeping your mind open. Now, within those, knowledge and experience is very important, because if you can manage to balance knowledge and experience with keeping your mind open, the world is basically yours to take. Animation, everything, right? Because when you start in a new studio, for example, when I started in a new studio, even though I have many years of experience and I've worked in many studios, I always start in the studio with the most humble attitude possible. And the reason why is because if you don't have a humble attitude when you start in the studio, even though people are looking up to you and asking you, how should we do this? It's much better, especially in the beginning, to ask, how do you guys normally do it? Learn from those things, right? And then try to interpret what has been done so far, and then put your spin on it to make sure that you don't really kind of like tear everything down in order to start everything from the beginning. Because sometimes, even though you think you have all the answers and you have like a better way of doing things, perhaps the way that the things have been working before work just fine, and you just don't see it just yet because you haven't really been in the job for so long. And those kind of things are the things that you have to learn on the job, right? And you have to keep a mind open. Otherwise, you become stubborn. And being stubborn in games, it really doesn't gel, because this is a team sport, right? We have to work together. We have to make sure that we're all pushing in the same direction in order to get the game out. So this is what I wanted to say to you guys about keeping your mind open, especially in games. Because if you do it, as you become a better and better professional, as you become more assured of yourself that you got this, that you're really good, and no one can take this from you, keeping your mind open is more important later on in your career than it is in the beginning. In the beginning, it's easy for everybody to know you don't have any experience, therefore listen to me as I told you things on how things should be done. And that's completely normal. You sit there, you listen, and then somebody else tells you what to do. Now, later on in life, it's very difficult for you to kind of like keeping your mind open when you already know that there's different ways of doing the same thing that they're telling you to do in a different way, right? If that makes sense. So think about that. Make sure you keep a mind open. Make sure you kind of like keep being curious as you are a better professional, a more fulfilled professional, because curiosity in animation, in art in general, is an amazing thing to have, always, right? Knowing what's new, or knowing what's next, knowing what other people know in order to see if they actually matches with what you have. You start building your bag of knowledge and experience the more you listen to others. It's that kind of situation of like, instead of talking all the time, listen, right? Listen, pay attention, and see if there's any knowledge that you can acquire from either the job or the people around you, or any experience that you have in your life. That is the best way to live your life, no matter if it's animation or not. And that's all I had for you guys. I hope that was useful to you. As always, many thanks to my Patreons for the support every single month. Thank you so much. If you guys don't support me yet, then please consider going over to Patreon, supporting me. I actually do behind the scenes from time to time. I also give you early access to these videos before they go live on YouTube, and much, much more. Now, I want to ask you guys if you guys can do me a favor, and if you enjoyed this video, then subscribe, hit the like button, and drop a comment down below and tell me what you think about this. Do you find yourself as being a person that keeps a mind open, or do you find yourself more on the stubborn side that actually likes to kind of be the person that has the knowledge, has the answers, right? Let me know. We're all different, no judgments, but drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And that's it. Until next week, stay well, stay safe. Peace.